What's up guys, it's Brian here. Today I am bringing you guys a review of the newest LEGO Star Wars set, the very weird Republic Fighter Tank. The set's number is 75342, contains 262 pieces, its age range is 7+, which I never really note but feels important for this particular review, and it retails for $40 US, which is the price that I bought it for. It does contain 6 minifigures in a $40 set, which is a very good lineup of figures, even though it's very bizarre. And the set itself, well, let's take a look at this thing. I have a lot of thoughts about this. This review is probably going to be all over the place and very long, but let's get straight into the set. So here's everything that comes in the box for the $40 that you pay retail price, and this thing is only 262 pieces, and if you take out all of the pieces that make up the figures and droids, you're probably just stuck with around like 240 pieces that make up the actual build. We'll take a look at these minifigures a little later, as we usually do. But for now, let's take a look at the build. This is a build that we got some weird angles of when it was first revealed. We saw it from like this angle, and then the actual box has it like this. And I just thought, okay, maybe this thing looks better in person, because some of the parts of the build I really don't like, but it doesn't. I hate to say it. I really hate being a pessimist in my reviews, because I usually only buy sets that I like, but this was a set that I just needed to buy for Clone Troopers and because I don't have a fighter tank. But some of this build really just doesn't look good. And while I was building it, it gave me the feeling of an old-timey LEGO Star Wars set from like the mid-2000s. It's a very, very simple build, and that's why I pointed out 7+. You're basically stacking bricks on plates, and you're stacking plates on plates. There is really nothing that is challenging about this build. It's obviously meant for kids, because, you know, LEGO is a toy. After all, we have to remind ourselves that. But there's no, like, snot technique, except maybe up here a little bit. There's really nothing complicated about this build at all, which is kind of disappointing considering it's 2022 and LEGO has gotten so much better with their builds, but also it is very easily modifiable. But let's take a look at the features that are indeed here. First of all, you can kind of see, as I was showing you, there's a lot of stickers. I'm just going to show you the sticker sheet now. This is the amount of stickers, and some of them are very long. This is like a 2x, I want to say 8, like a 2x8 tile, and a 2x6 tile over there, and then the ones for the windscreen pieces, for this little, this cockpit piece. It's a lot. It's a lot, and they're difficult to put on. So 7-year-olds can't put these stickers on. That's just straight up, unless your 7-year-old is a LEGO sticker prodigy. I don't think a 7-year-old can put these stickers on without help. But I like the sticker detailing. I like the detail that it adds. It probably could have been brick-built details, but I think the stickers look fine. I don't really have too much of a problem with these two sections down here with the actual treads. My main problems come with the midsection, which does indeed open up. And here's a crazy benefit about this set. You can fit all 3 clones inside this tank. Like, here's the clone sitting in the cockpit. That just closes up, just like so. And he's still sitting straight up right there. The door in the back, which uses anti-studs, which looks so ugly. I really don't like this door back here. But you can also stick a clone in there. He's kind of lying down. You can kind of get him on the studs in there. The piece that's in there, I'll show you that if I can get him out, is a collectible minifigure stand, the 3x4 plate, modified plate with the studs in the middle. I'm just trying to get this figure on there so he's kind of laying down, but he's in there. And then this little section up here, which you kind of got to access by pushing up because there's no real good way to grip that, is a single control panel that's not new or anything, and you can put the airborne trooper up here so that he can sit in the open cockpit and shooting away. And that's actually very easy. I like how he's just standing up back there. There's nothing too crazy, and I really like the interior of this and how roomy it is, and that you can fit all 3 clones inside of it. But I've tried it a lot of times. There is not a way to get this guy to sit down and close this top hatch. I'm gonna try it again for you in real time, just so you can see what I've tried and where I'm coming from. When you sit him on the back there, you can see it's still just not gonna close. He's just too tall. Put his arms down like this and get him on the front like that. He's too tall. It's not gonna close. So it can't close up with all the figures inside, but you can fit all of them in there, and there's a place for all of them. And, you know, there's tons of studs on the outside for Mace Windu to stand on, because, you know, that's just what Jedi do. But let's see, the other functions are spring-loaded shooters on the front, which I don't have loaded, and wheels on the bottom, which really don't do anything except keep the plates from scraping up your table, which I guess is a benefit. But yeah, those what do you call it? The wheels don't really do much at all. You can see how that's built. They're just the little plastic wheels, no tires or anything, and it makes a pretty ugly sound on your table. But it works. It works fine, I guess. But I do have a lot of problems with the set aesthetically, which I think a lot of people do. It is very, very blocky overall, and that's where I'm kind of getting at with the like mid-2000s feel, because sets from the mid-2000s did not have that many pieces. Like 262 pieces for $40 would not really be uncommon for a $40 set from, you know, the mid-2000s. That's not that bad. However, I'd kind of expect a little bit more detail to be included in a set in 2022, you know, we're in the 20s, not the 2000s now. And, okay, this is the part that bothers me the most. This gap does not close. I thought maybe it was just like LEGO was getting a little lazy and taking their pictures and they didn't close the cockpit all the way, and I was like, okay, I'll see what it's like in hand. It probably closes all the way. It doesn't close all the way, and that's not because there's a trooper in there. It's because of these little modified plates with the ridges. I'm just gonna rip this out so you can see. This is the build that's in there. It's an inverted slope with these little ridge pieces. If you take those out, the cockpit's got nowhere to go. So you can kind of like get it to be aligned a little bit, and that looks a lot better. Honestly, that looks a lot better. But this is the build that we're working with. Before any modifications, this is the build that we're working with. It just does not like to close fully. You can see how the cockpit is hinged on there with these little droid arm pieces. But actually, surprisingly enough, I did not think that this vehicle looked good until I did some research on this vehicle, and this is the vehicle from Legends that they were clearly basing the design off of, and it's accurate. All of the sticker detailing, even the shape of the boxiness up here and in the back, and even like some, the cockpit's actually not too accurate, but the shaping up here with the little the translucent plates to make the windscreens, it's accurate. It looks really good. The little stripes up here even, I was actually kind of floored to realize that this thing does look good compared to its source material, even though this vehicle is not canon, except for its appearance in Battlefront 2. So does that make it canon? I think it does. But anyway, this is just so weird. And the good part is that it is very modifiable. You can see how simple this build is right here. I don't like these use of these giant new sloped bricks. I think they're 1x8x3. And I don't like them very much at all. But you can see just how simple the build is. Even you can take off this tile, and there's so much open stud room. You can replace this brick with multiple bricks. You can extend this little hatch down a little bit, the ridge pieces, and you get a set that is very easily modifiable. Because the build is so simple, you can modify this thing very easily. Of course, you shouldn't judge a LEGO set based on how easy it is to modify. I'm just saying if you're into modifications and you have a lot of pieces of your own, it's something that you can do as like a little side project to try to make this thing better. But for what's in the box, it's weird. And speaking of weird, we gotta take a look at the minifigures. Probably the most normal thing about this set are the B-1 battle droids, which have been around since 1999. They won't change, they hopefully will never change, but a good little bit is that they do have gunmetal gray blasters, which I love getting this blaster piece in different like grays and silvers and blacks and that kind of stuff. Love the new gunmetal gray blasters. They've been around for a while, but I've never really seen battle droids with them. But I'm not going to spend too much time on these guys because they're perfect, you know? They've been perfect since 99, and they are still perfect to this day. And the next figure that we're going to talk about in this set is Mace Windu, who we haven't really touched much on so far, but this is, I'm going to say it, it's the best Mace Windu LEGO has ever done. It's the same figure from the UCS gunship, which is just so funny to me, but it has arm printing, so it's an improvement over the Mace Windu from the gunship. Obviously, with this arm printing, that means that it is based on the Clone Wars and not his appearance in the movies, because he doesn't have his little arm guards in the movies, he just has them in the TV shows. But the printing is pretty good. It's a little bit smudged in some areas because it's so detailed on such a small space. But the white printing is actually very prominent. It's not very, like, translucent at all. It's a very strong white print, and the Republic detail, very, very good for how small it is. But we've all seen this figure before. He's been around for a long time, and if you want the figure from the gunship, you can just replace his arms. Or if you want to make this into a movie-accurate mace, you can just replace his arms, and it looks really good. So I'm very happy to have this figure, and I never thought I would, and I never thought that they would even make an improvement to that already exclusive minifigure. And now we gotta talk about the 187th Legion Purple Clone Troopers. This is a figure that I don't think anybody ever expected to get. These purple clones originated in a Hasbro battle pack from 2006 with Mace Windu and his Legion of Clone Troopers, and I think that Hasbro kind of just made them up. They don't have any other reference material aside from the Hasbro toys, and then Hasbro made a couple of other 187th Legion Clone Trooper sets, like battle packs, and they made a bust at one point. You can look it up, it's fascinating stuff. But this is such a niche figure in such an already niche market of Clone Wars fans. Then you get even more niche into people who remember this Hasbro toy from 2006. It's not canon, it's never appeared in anything, but it's really good. I mean, I really like the purple look. I just never even heard of these guys until they came out in this set. So, you know, I was not even in that niche community. But it looks really good. I really like all the purple detailing. I don't know what else to say, man. It's just, they're good figures. They got the new clone head under there. And I love the little strap detailing. And yeah, man, it just looks good. Very weird inclusion. I feel like we could have gotten literally any other Clone Legion and we would have been happy with this set. But it's a new addition to the Clone Armies, for the LEGO Clone Army, which is really cool. And you do get 2 of them in this set, which is so good. So good. I'm very glad they didn't just put 1 of these troopers in this set. Not only do you get 2 of the regular purple clone troopers, you get an airborne trooper too, which is really good. And I love the detail on this guy as well. He's very accurate to the Hasbro toy, because that's the only reference point that we have at this point. Same clone head under there. One thing that really bums me out is that it really seems like they're moving away from doing waist capes. Those little gray, those little tan lines are supposed to be indications of a cloth waist cape that just isn't here. So I feel like, you know, for a $40 set, I think they should have just thrown in a waist cape. Come on, it's just 1 waist cape, and it would have made this figure perfect. But aside from that, it's still really good, and, you know, you're not going to see me complaining about getting more variety of clone troopers. Nothing really special in the extra piece department. You can pause the video to take a look, but this is really all there is, so I'm not even going to spend too much time talking about it. So I don't even know how to wrap up this review because the set is just so weird. But here's what I'll start off with, is that before I looked at that reference picture that I showed earlier, and I'll show it again, I did not think that this build looked very good. However, it is more accurate than I gave it credit for. That doesn't change the fact that I don't like how blocky this midsection is, and just how, really just the midsection that bothers me the most. And how simple the build is, you can modify it very easily, which is what I'm going to try to do. A couple of people have already done it. David Hall just made a video about modifying the Republic fighter tank, and HP Bricks on Instagram a long time ago put out his modifications, which I'll probably use as a reference point because he really upgrades the midsection a lot. But its simplicity makes it easy to modify, which I do appreciate. And the build is larger than you might think. You can see how wide it is compared to these minifigures here. It's a decent sized build, you know? You can pick it up very easily from the back, which is quite nice. And it's not as bad as I was ready to roast it once I saw the picture of the reference point. Now, let's also talk about this $40 price, because I don't think you're getting ripped off here. Even though this set is weird and it only comes with 262 pieces, you know how much of a price to part ratio guy that I can be. When I dumped out bag 1 of this set, I saw all the large pieces that were just in bag 1 alone. And I understand why they made it $40, but also the inclusion of 6 minifigures in this set, you don't see that often in a $40 set, let alone a couple of, like 3 new and exclusive minifigures. Well, I mean, this guy's not really totally exclusive. 2 truly new and exclusive minifigures in a $40 set. And I can't help but think back to 2020 when we got a similar sized set that had, I think it was 280 pieces, the AAT. It contained a brand new Ahsoka, a brand new Clone Trooper, and 2 battle droids. And this was the minifigure lineup for that $40 set. And that would, if this was the minifigure lineup, this would be a very disappointing overall experience. But they listened to our criticisms of that set clearly, and this minifigure lineup is everything that the 2020 AAT wasn't. 3 Clone Troopers in this set really makes it a good value for $40. If you don't want to pay $40, I completely understand, because it is a set that I think requires modification, which is a drawback to some people, whereas I don't mind a little project of modifying a set. I don't mind that, but if you just want to keep the set the way it is, I'd recommend waiting for it to go down in price a little bit, especially if you want multiples of this set to either have an army of fighter tanks or have an army of purple clone troopers. I would recommend waiting for it to go down in price, because $40 is a steep price to buy multiples of any set, because then you get 2 of these, and you're already up to 80 bucks, and you're gonna get a lot of figures, but also, it's still $80 worth of fighter tanks. I also feel like they could have included any other lineup of Republic minifigures, and the set still would have been pretty good. I feel like, you know, the purple clones are so obscure, they could have put any Jedi with their clone legion, and it would have been just fine. They could have included shock troopers. They could have included 2 12th troopers. This could have been Obi-Wan, Cody, and a couple 2 12th troopers. We would be praising this as one of the best sets of all time. It's maybe a missed opportunity to include even just white clone troopers. We've been begging for plain white clone troopers for years. They could have put 3 or 4 of these in this set, and we would have been praising it as one of the best sets ever. But regardless, we get the purple guys, which are a cool, obscure reference, but not as useful as some of those other more popular legions. But even that is just nitpicking at this point. These figures are really good, even though it's kind of a weird choice. Very weird choice. Very weird that this set exists. The rumors didn't seem credible from the start when this set was being rumored, like late last year. They were coming from weird sources, so I just wasn't sure what to think of it. And this many figures in a $40 set, it seems so improbable. But here it is in front of my face, and I'm happy with it. Question mark. I'm just excited to modify it, and I'm tired of thinking about it. I just want to enjoy the set, enjoy the clone troopers, and enjoy the Mace Windu. And that's gonna just about do it. And that was quite a long-winded review to say that if you want this thing, get it. If not, wait for it to go down in price, as I usually say within my reviews. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching and listening to me ramble about this toy. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed, leave me a comment down below, and be sure to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks again for watching. This has been Brian from Watermelon Studios. Peace out, guys.